Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, by Shem Raka Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven, and this isn't speaking of a war between the Most High and the fallen angels led by Satan. That's all just a Saturday morning cartoon fairy tale. When you truly understand these scriptures, you know that it's impossible for Satan or any angel or demon to go against the Most High. Just go to Job chapter 1 and chapter 2. The only way Satan could mess with Job is if he got permission from the Most High to do so. Think about it like this. Satan is Slugworth from Willy Wonka. For the whole movie, you thought Slugworth was trying to undermine Willy Wonka, but in the end, you found out Slugworth was working for Willy Wonka. But yeah, this is speaking of a war in the second heaven, or space, more specifically low orbit space, because you've got three heavens. The first heaven, which is the regular sky, the second heaven, which is space, and then the third heaven, which is where the Most High dwells. And this is going to take place when Yahushai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, returns in the fathership, or that massive chariot, which people are going to ignorantly refer to as a so-called UFO, to save his elect and put an end to the rulership of the heathens. When Yahushai returns with the archangels, these heathens led by Esau Edom are really going to fight against him. They're going to fight on the ground with their tanks and missiles and stuff like that, in the regular sky with fighter jets, and then in the second heaven, or low orbit space, with advanced spacecraft and satellites that can shoot lasers. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and that dragon is referring to Esau Edom, the so-called white man's military, political, and financial system. That fourth beast, the reincarnated Roman Empire, which is that NATO-EU alliance which the U.S. is a part of, and his angels are again his fighter jets, his advanced spacecrafts, and those satellites equipped with lasers, verse 8, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. When you Edomites go against the Most High, you're going to fail utterly. It's going to be like shooting crabs in a barrel. Verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, again speaking to Esau Edom, the so-called white man, because the word devil simply means deceiver or a liar, which you Edomites are known for. Just go to Psalms chapter 58, I think verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go forth speaking lies as soon as they be born. And you Edomites are the wicked, as pursuant to Malachi 1 verse 4, the border of wickedness. And just look at what you Edomites have done. You've said that you're the true children of Israel, which you're not, the true children of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and you even made the Most High and his son and the angels look like so-called white people, or Edomites. And Satan means the accuser, and you Edomites are constantly bringing accusations against the children of Israel before the Most High to try to get that blessing and that birthright back, which is never going to happen. You call us niggers, spics, tontos, thugs, deadbeats, lowlives, and don't get me wrong, a lot of two-thirds are those things, but you definitely had a hand in it, and you just in general say we're the cause for all the problems in the world, which when you really look at it, I don't see Daquan or Jorge putting chemtrails in the sky, polluting the ocean, strip mining the land of its resources, or going halfway across the world and bombing a country to the Stone Ages just so you can set up a puppet government and steal the resources from that country. You Edomites are the real problem of the world. You're the real niggers. But in this video, I'm going to be dealing with this upcoming war in heaven, because recently you had Trump announce that the U.S. Space Force was activated, and now France just announced that they're building up their own Space Force. This is an article from lepoint.fr titled, Space. France will arm its next military satellites. The dragon and his angels fighting against Michael and his angels that war in heaven. And France is one of the 10 horns upon the beast that the whore rides upon. The beast being NATO, and the 10 horns being the first 10 common markets of the EU back when it was known as the European Economic Community, and that whore is the United States of America, which is biblically known as Babylon the Great. Florence Parley detailed Lyon's new space strategy based on self-defense in Lyon. The budget reaches 4.3 billion euros. For the French armies, the summer of 2019 will be remembered as one in which space has really become a field of action. After the announcement on July 13th by Emmanuel Macron of the creation of a large command dedicated to space, and the name change of the Air Force, which will eventually become the Air Force and from Space, the Minister of the Armed Forces detailed the new defense space strategy Thursday, July 29th at the Air Base 942 Lyon Montverdun. Having a reinforced space defense is absolutely essential. It is our freedom of appreciation, access, and action in space that is at stake, explained Florence Parley, who spoke in front of more than 100 Air Force personnel, including the Air Force Chief of Staff, General Levine, the Commander of Air Defense and Air Operations, General Zimmerman, or the current Joint Space Commander, General Friedling. And the cover story for this is that they're going to fight space debris and foreign actors who also have weaponized assets in space. But really, it's all just to fight against Yahushua HaMashiach and the angels when they return. 4 billion euros, blah, blah, blah. The new Space Command will be armed by 220 Salakia. It's just Satan messing with this page. I'm going to have to keep retranslating it. The new Space Command will be armed by 220 soldiers from its inception, as it will bring together personnel from the Cosmos, Space Operations Military Oversight Center, the Joint Space Command, or CIE, and the Military Center, Satellite Observation System, CMOS. It will expand and reach its final dimension by 2025, but best believe that these systems are already in place. They just have to give people an estimate so that they'll be psychologically prepared for this technology, to have an idea that it exists. When the new Air Force Space Operations Center in Toulouse will certainly have taken shape. To want to become a general day of space, it will not be fantasy, it will be a credible ambition, promised Florence Parley. Cameras, machine guns, and lasers on satellites. Concretely, in order to assume the doctrine of active space defense advocated by the President of the Republic, new means will have to be deployed in the coming years to better know what happens in low orbit between 100 and 800 kilometer altitude. And low orbit is as far as you Edomites have gotten into space, because you can't get past the Van Allen radiation belt. The Most High has set the bounds which you cannot pass. Going to the moon was all a hoax. At geostationary, 36,000 kilometers, it will deploy new military means of detection and call in addition to private services, such as those Ariane Group, Airbus, or Thales. In addition, the armies want to equip the next sensitive satellites with payloads. At first, as requested by the minister late 2018, the next generation of Syracuse satellites will be equipped with cameras that will allow them to identify possible attackers. But in a second time, the satellites of the following generations will be equipped with weapons, allowing them to fight back. This can be achieved by submachine guns capable of destroying the aggressor's solar panels, or by lasers to blind or destroy an enemy satellite. But in the end, this is all futile. Back in Revelation chapter 12, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. The Most High is building you Edomites up and building up your pride just to make your fall that much greater. This is Obadiah chapter 1. I'm going to read verse 1 through 4. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom, you so-called white people, you red Hebrew Edomites, you Caucasians or cave dwellers. We've heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. And not only are you Edomites the minority race on the planet, you're despised among all these other heathens, because with this vibration of you so-called white people being the Edomites and the cause for all the problems in the earth going out from the men of the Lord, chiefly GMS or Great Millstone, diligently going out there on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this. A new spirit is going throughout the earth, waking up these people to the fact that you Edomites are the devil and Satan and the cause for all the problems going on right now. Verse 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. And in the scriptures, mountains are symbolic for rulership, and you Edomites inhabit the highest mountain right now. You're on top of everything. And it can also refer to your skyscrapers, which are like mountains, hence why they're called skyscrapers. That saith in his heart or his mind, who shall bring me down to the ground? Even though your birth rates are declining globally and your economies are on the verge of collapse, you proud Edomites think you'll never go down because you've got some of the strongest militaries, nuclear weapons, and these advanced space weapons. But as it says in verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and who's known for using the eagle as their symbol, from ancient Rome to Nazi Germany to the good old United States of America today, it's you Edomites. And though thou set thy nest among the stars in low orbit space, that second heaven, with those space stations, spacecrafts we haven't even seen yet, and those satellites equipped with lasers and other weapons, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh, back in Revelation chapter 12, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. When you Edomites go to fight against Yahushai, it's going to be a complete and utter slaughter. That beating's going to be so bad that you wish you never did it. And now I'm going to close it out in 2 Esdras chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men, out of number, from the four winds of heaven, all these heathen militaries, mainly the United States military and NATO, gathered down into the valley of Jehoshaphat for that battle in the valley of Jehoshaphat, or that war of Armageddon, which is going to take place in that Middle Eastern region, to subdue the man that came out of the sea, Yahushai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it, that massive chariot, that fathership. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. This chariot's going to be so massive that it's pretty much going to block out the sky. Verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. When Yahushai returns in the midst of all these heathens fighting each other, the Most High is going to put the Spirit on them to stop fighting each other and fight Yahushai. Verse 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, pulling out all the stops, using their military equipment on the ground, such as their tanks, missiles, rifles, rocket launchers, what have you, their fighter jets in the sky, and their space weapons in low orbit space from those advanced spacecrafts and those satellites that war in heaven, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been, a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests that concentrated heat, those laser beams being fired from the chariot. Think of Mars attacks or War of the Worlds, and as what happened in War of the Worlds, as it says in verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Those laser beams are going to be so powerful that it's going to turn people into dust and only smell of smoke. Here's a quick gift from War of the Worlds, when that concentrated heat or those laser beams was hitting people. only dust and smell of smoke. So these Edomites are done in the spirit. Now we're just waiting for their downfall to manifest in the physical. So to you sincere Akim out there, don't get weak since we're so close to the finish line. Stay strong and keep pushing this word as hard as you can to make your calling and election sure. And as always, I'm going to say Abba Ball, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.